March 20th, and I'm going to post this tomorrow evening. If anything changes, I will make sure to include it in a pinned comment. So, tonight we are heading to Tennessee. Shout out to all my friends in Tennessee. This is the case of the disappearance of Riley Strain, and it happened on March 8th of this year. So less than 2 weeks ago. He has been missing now for about 12 days. So let's start out with a little background on Riley. Riley Strain is a 22-year-old young man from Springfield, Missouri. He was born to his parents, Michelle Whitehide and Robert, aka Ryan Gilbert. He also has step-parents, Millie Gilbert and Chris Whitehide. If I'm mispronouncing that last name, I apologize. After he graduated from high school, he enrolled at the University of Missouri. His plan was to pursue a career in the field of finance. He had been working at an internship in his field, and he was due to graduate this May of 2024. While in college, Riley pledged the fraternity Delta Chi. Regarding Riley's personality, according to his cousin named Jake Bradley, he said, quote, "Yeah, he likes to have fun with his buddies and all that. That's not, if you saw him outside of that, his love and his care and his kindness were of a 5-year-old boy that loved every toy he ever had, you know," end quote. His cousin Jake has a 2-year-old son, and he explained that every time Riley sees his child, Riley brings him a toy, and he tries to be like a best friend to him. Jake described Riley as having a fun-loving personality. Now, Riley is 6'5", and he weighs about 160 pounds. Now let's move right to the date of his disappearance. Riley and his fraternity from the University of Missouri went on a weekend trip to Nashville, Tennessee for a fraternity formal that they had every year. On Friday, March 8th at 7:30 p.m., Riley FaceTimed his mother just to tell her, quote, "Hey mom, I'm having a good time," end quote. It was said that he was extremely close with his mother, and he would speak to her 3 or 4 times every day. At the time that he called her, he told her that he was at Friends in Low Places Bar and Honky Tonk, which is a bar owned by country singer Garth Brooks. He mentioned that he and his friends had also been to Miranda Lambert's Casa Rosa that evening as well, and his mom would later say that he sounded coherent during gets up, he is seen stumbling onto Gay Street near the river, holding his head in some of the footage. Video footage also shows Riley walking by himself along Gay Street around 9:50 p.m. and crossing First Avenue. In that video, he appears disoriented as he walks alongside other pedestrians. After stopping on the sidewalk, pausing for a moment, and then walking towards the direction he came from, he swiftly turns around and continues to walk down Gay Street. CCTV last captures Riley on Gay Street near the James Robertson Bridge. Now, there was also some police body cam footage from 9:52, which shows Riley briskly walking past the officer on a sidewalk adjacent to Cumberland River on Gay Street. The officer asked Riley how he was doing, and Riley said, "I'm good, how are you?" He did not appear distressed, and he was walking more upright than in previous videos. He didn't slur his words, and he seemed pretty much okay. Nothing that you would think the officer should have been alarmed by. And this officer was in the area for the next 45 minutes due to a vehicle burglary call. That's why he was there. And there was no commotion heard in his footage to signal that Riley was in distress or that he had fallen or that he was being attacked or anything. This footage wasn't actually released to the public until 10 days after the disappearance, I suppose because the police were closely reviewing it. A police spokesperson said, quote, "To those who are saying that they believe he could have been in distress, that somebody could have been after him as he walked onto Gay Street, well, as you see in the video, he's walking by himself on the riverside and speaks to a police officer as the officer is looking at a vehicle that has been broken into." End quote. Now, Riley had an app on his phone called Life 360, which tracked him to a few blocks north of Gay Street and James Robertson Parkway near the Cumberland River at around 9:53 p.m. And his route was continuing to take him further and further away from his hotel. He was just completely headed in the wrong direction. Presumably, he was lost and confused. Between 10 and 10:30, his phone pinged near Public Square Park, which is near the Cumberland River, and this was the last signal sent from his phone. The last known communication from Riley was a text message that he sent to a girl that he was seeing. She texted him to see how he was doing and if he was having fun, and he sent a text back saying, quote, "Good Lops, L-O-P-S," which just leads you to believe that he was too intoxicated to type out what he really meant to say. Now, on March 9th, so he disappeared on the night of March 8th, so March 9th, at 1:46 a.m., his friends reported him missing after they had gone back to the hotel, and he wasn't there. March 10th through 11th, the police searched for Riley Strain. Officers started out by checking local hospitals and jails to see if he was picked up by the police or had been injured and taken for medical treatment. footage had shown that he was right near the river before his phone died, which leads a lot of people to believe he might have fallen in the river. A Metropolitan Nashville Police Department helicopter, a drone, and boats with sonar devices were used to search the water and the banks of the river, but they did not find any sign of him. Now, they did not, as far as I'm aware, physically go into the water. Like, they were not putting on scuba gear and going in. I believe it was too dangerous. Luke Bryan, the owner of the bar that he was last at, acknowledged Riley's disappearance in an Instagram post, and he said, quote, "Y'all, this is scary, praying for his safe return," end quote. And he said that the restaurant group that owns the bar is working with the police. They are cooperating with the police to provide anything that the police need. On March 13th, the Tennessee Alcohol Beverage Commission announced that it was investigating whether or not Riley had been served alcohol while visibly intoxicated at 32 Bridge. I believe that might be when they found out he had only had one alcoholic beverage when he was there. Now, also on that day, on the 13th, a vigil was held for Riley in Springfield, Missouri. Now, of course, I didn't mention it, but his parents, his family, have been involved since the beginning. They have been in Nashville doing whatever it is they can. Now, on March 14th, the police continued their search. They held a press conference that day, and they revealed that homeless residents at 2 encampments near the Cumberland River had seen Riley that night. They were unsure as to where he went after they spotted him, though. And police said that they did not believe that there was any foul play involved in Riley's disappearance. On March 15th, Luke's 32 Bridge posted on social media the following statement, quote, "During Riley's visit to Luke's 32 Bridge, our records show that he purchased and was served 1 alcoholic drink and 2 waters. At 9:35 p.m., our security team made a decision based on our conduct standards to escort him from the venue through our Broadway exit at the front of our building. He was followed down the stairs with 1 member of his party. The individual with Riley did not exit and returned upstairs," end quote. On March 17th, 2 TikTokers who were helping with the search found Riley Strain's bank card on the embankment between Gay Street and the Cumberland River, and it was immediately turned over to the police. People questioned why it took 2 volunteers, 2 civilians, to find this piece of evidence, and the professionals had not found it in all that time. When the bank records were checked, it was found that nobody had used his card, so it did not appear that he had been robbed. Also that same day, March 17th, a body was Nobody knows who this person is, though, at this time. It was said he was wearing a maroon shirt. He was possibly Hispanic. He had a certain tattoo. So I imagine this man may have met the same fate that Riley did, because the police did say that this man was not a victim of foul play. They didn't say exactly what had happened, but I would guess he had fallen in the river and drowned. Okay, so one of the last people who saw Riley was a man who is part of Nashville's homeless community. He lives near the river with his wife, down an embankment from Gay Street. He said that he saw Riley walk by sometime around 10 p.m. on the 8th. He said, quote, "We heard a commotion. We looked back up. He almost fell over. The last bush right there caught him. He was very, very, very intoxicated. I never seen anybody stumble that hard before." End quote. This man said that he did not head closer to check on Riley since someone else was already there with him. So this guy said, quote, "I yelled up. They said he's just drunk. He's okay." End quote. He added that Riley continued down the same direction up First Avenue after falling into the bushes. However, that is where Riley's trail stopped, and there was no other footage or cell phone activity beyond that point. So apparently, Riley had stumbled past 2 homeless camps that night, and several people from there had reported seeing him. The homeless camps are located under the Woodland Street Bridge and the James Robertson Parkway Bridge. According to a woman named Sabrina, she saw a homeless man wearing what appeared to be the distinctive multicolored shirt that Riley was wearing when he disappeared. She had called into a show called The Pascal Show. It's an online show hosted by Pascal Beaubuff, and it is based in Missouri, where Riley lives. Now, Sabrina said that she is from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is about a half an hour from Nashville. And she says that she often works to feed the homeless in Nashville. And before she knew that Riley was missing and had seen photos, she saw a homeless man wearing a shirt that appeared to be the same one that Riley had been wearing when he disappeared. She said, quote, "The shirt I saw on Facebook is what caught my attention. On Sunday, when I was feeding the homeless down by the Cumberland River in what they call Tent City, we were handing out our water and our food, and there was a young man on a bicycle. He had on extremely dirty pants, brown shoes, and had on like a half zip-up hoodie is what it looked like. That was very dirty, and had a clean, collared white shirt with a dark colored pocket on it. I don't remember if it was black, blue, or brown, but it was very distinct because it was the different colored pocket, and his shirt was bright white. He was filthy, as a lot of them are generally fairly dirty, and you don't see a lot of bright white shirts. If they do have on white, it's very discolored. So I mentioned to one of the girls that was with me when he walked off, 'Oh, he must have got a new shirt.'" End quote. She said that she asked those that were with her that day if any of them had gotten a picture of the man, but nobody had. She said she is also very clear on the fact that the man she saw was not Riley, but that she has seen this person before. She said, quote, "It was a very distinct information, so I guess it turned up nothing of value. Riley's family has reached out to an organization called the United Cagan Navy. They are a disaster response organization made up of volunteers to provide search and rescue resources after natural disasters and missing persons cases. So this group has started searching for Riley already. They will deploy an airboat and a hovercraft in the upcoming days to search for Riley along the Cumberland River bank. Now, both the police and the United Cagan Navy said that people should not try to search along the riverbanks on their own because it is very dangerous. It is very steep with lots of trash and debris that could hurt people. Now, a statement has been made to investigators, quote, "The TABC, which stands for Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission, is continuing to investigate whether any violation of state alcohol law occurred regarding Riley Strain on March 8th, 2024. The TABC has worked with local law enforcement to determine where he was served alcohol that night. All licensed establishments questioned have been cooperative. The final report will be made public once the investigation has been closed." Now, today, for me, which is Wednesday the 20th, the United Cagan Navy searched a dam which was about 42 miles away from where Riley's phone last pinged, but it was where the river would feed into. It's called the Chatham Dam, and they did not find him there. But they are continuing to look, and they will be looking more tomorrow. And that is the case. What are your thoughts? I will share some of mine. First of all, I hope with all my heart that Riley is okay, that he is somewhere right now as we speak, and he is healthy and unharmed. That is what I hope. But, like most people out there, I really doubt it. I hate to say that. It is a gut-wrenching thing to think about right now, but I really don't think that he's okay. Obviously, because we've seen him walking down the street horribly intoxicated, and then he disappears. The trail ends right near the river, and his credit card is found on the bank of the river. So, chances are he fell in the river, and the river took his body somewhere. It is very, very sad. He was only 22. His parents, I feel for them immensely. I am just like them. I have 22-year-old twins in the same phase of life as Riley. And I hate to even think of such a thing happening. I've seen his parents crying on the news. It is heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. is just so sad and tragic. I know all the cases are sad and tragic. You know, you can't even compare one is more or less than another, but in this moment right now, this is very sad to me. It's like he was alive 1 minute and gone the next. As he said, you know, to the police officer across the street that he was fine, you know. Hey, how are you? Fine, how are you? Whatever exactly he said. It's like he was okay that second, and it seems like maybe minutes later he wasn't okay anymore. Now, the authorities have said that there looks like no foul play was involved, and I tend to agree. And everyone wonders what made him so intoxicated. And that has yet to be determined. There's more information out there. Like from the other bars, what did he drink? Or information from his friends on exactly what went on. Did anyone take any drugs? Was he slipped drugs? Did he knowingly take some along with the alcohol? Or was it just a lot of alcohol? But the answers to those questions will not help us to find Riley. It's just a matter of who to blame, you know? And I wonder why he had 2 glasses of water at that bar. You know, did he realize that he was extremely drunk and he was trying to like wash it out somehow? A lot of people are talking about why there were no Good Samaritans who helped Riley in the state that he was in. And I mean, it's hard to judge people for that because, well, some of the time he didn't look like he needed any help. He was just walking down the street, you know? Or if he was holding his head and looking down, you wouldn't necessarily think anything if you were walking past him. And apparently there was a homeless person who saw him fall into the bush and said he was okay, so I'm thinking that man might have said to him, "Are you okay?"